Orient against Chelsea, and first on the scene yesterday were Second Division Orient. Phil Hoadley is their skipper. They're a club that prides itself on producing its own players with the occasional careful buy when it's necessary. So these are the O's from East London. Chelsea, meanwhile, with Ray Wilkins leading them out, have also become masters of producing their own men, and it's a policy that's beginning to pay off for them. So there go the men of Chelsea, at last into the view of the 25,000 crowd.
Orient's Brisbane Road ground is buzzing with excitement, an all-ticket crowd, and the Orient faithful amongst them hoping for a repeat of that day in 1972 when Orient beat Chelsea 3-2 here in a fifth-round FA Cup tie. And the man who scored an important goal that day for Orient is out there again. It was Phil Hoadley. His 30-yard shot helped to sink Chelsea. He's a good, consistent defender who, as a boy, in fact, was first spotted by Chelsea. The goalkeeper he beat that day was Peter Bonetti, and he's in goal for Chelsea again today. So let's first of all now check on the two teams. Orient, first of all, they had to make a late decision. Peter Bennett has recovered from a leg injury and plays after missing 2 games. 17-year-old Kevin Godfrey continues at number 7 in the absence of the injured John Chidozie, and quite a test that's going to be for him. Meanwhile, Chelsea, they've had a bad morning. Defender Steve Wicks is reported with flu. He's got a temperature of 103, so he's out. Graham Wilkins comes in at number 3. Ron Harris moves to number 6. But getting up to date with 2 informed goal scorers, Peter Kitchen, bought for £40,000 last summer from Doncaster, 4 out of 5 cup goals for Orient this season, 19 in all. And Clive Walker of Chelsea, who scored in both Chelsea Cup wins against Liverpool and against Burnley. The referee today is Derek Nibbard. He comes from Christchurch in Dorset. And now we're just about ready for the start. So Chelsea get us away. Attacking the goal to our right with a proud goal-scoring record of having got 13 in their last 3. Although in fairness they've conceded a few as well. They've conceded at least 2 in their last 7 games. Here needing all their resolve against a lively Orient side, but it's Chelsea with Gary Locke making that first opening move. And a shot there by Tommy Langley going straight into the arms of John Jackson. Oh, and behind that Jackson goal, there's trouble there. The boarding has collapsed in the first minute of the game, and there are going to be injuries and problems there, and a holding up of the game without any doubt at all by Derek Nibbard. I would have thought there's no way that goal can continue. And there are going to be a wall collapse there. The play going on at the other end as the ball goes back to Peter Bonetti. And there's no way the game can continue. And in fact, there's trouble all around this ground. There are going to be some bad injuries there. It was a surging crowd that came down within the first seconds of the game when John Jackson took that shot from Tommy Langley. A wall was collapsed within seconds. And now I think the delay is going to be a long one. That's the problem. There are people on the pitch. I've seen girls out there crying with the shock of it all. And in fact, down on 2 sides of the ground, not only behind the goal, but alongside the main stand here, there's been a collapse there as well, right beneath our television gantry. The Orient chairman having transferred one youngster who was caught up in that bit of trouble when the walls collapsed, delivering a couple of the unfortunates to the safer end of the field. So the crowd are off the pitch. It's going to be a drop ball on the centre line. We've had a delay of something like 5 to 6 minutes. And there's still a lot of work being done behind that John Jackson goal. But away we go again now. Here's Joe Mayo on the ball for Orient. Tony Grealish and Roffey number 3. That one, and here's Langley. And Finiston very nearly got in there, and that was danger. You can see the crowd toppling down once more behind that Chelsea goal, that Orient goal. But a good run by Langley after Gray had missed it, and the cross in, and a tremendous amount of ground covered by Finiston. But Hoadley and Jackson were there to prevent the number 7 turning it in. Good ball there played for Britain. Lock. And he's gone through Mayo and Kitcheney's bowled down. It's a free kick. Diving in between those two Orient front men who'd come back to help, giving away the free kick on the edge of the Orient box. So Orient form a 4-man wall. John Jackson putting that wall in line, just 3 in the wall now. Roffey's moved away. And Wilkins, Swain and Britain are going to be behind it. It's Wilkins who curls it, and Jackson fisting it away. Lock turning it in. And now Walker. And just past that far post. Well, Jackson in action twice there. First when Wilkins dipped in that little free kick and he had to get away and dive out. And then when Clive Walker, and I'm not at all sure that John Jackson didn't misjudge that, and that ball was perilously close to that far post. Ball back with Peter Vanetti. Kitchen, Bennett, and now Britain. Here's Wilkins, and now Walker. Oh, and that was allowed to go a long, long way before Hoadley got in there, a fraction before Finiston, and headed it over. In fact, it's a free kick, a push by the Chelsea number 7 on Phil Hoadley. But Walker's cross curling in, and it was Hoadley who had to take control of that situation. A free kick given to Orient, which Kevin Godfrey's going to take. Nigel Gray's come up for this one. And it might just get to him. Roffey trying to turn it back again. Wilkins getting it out. Grealish short again to Godfrey. Now will he take his man on? That's a nice play by him, and Kitchen tried hard to get in there, and in fact got a corner for Orient, which Roffey will take. Joe Mayo in there, of course, but Nigel Gray, the big number 8, has come up as well. Peter Vanetti and the Chelsea defenders under a bit of pressure now, as Roffey will aim to curl this corner in. It's exactly what it does, and Vanetti caught it and lost it, and Mayo hitting way over the top. Well, Chelsea were in trouble from the moment that curling corner from Bill Roffey fell out of Peter Vanetti's hands. It was pulled back from the byline, and Joe Mayo contrived to whack it over the crossbar. Three. And a break by Britain, and a free kick. For a trip on Britain. Wilkins with the kick. Roy trying to get in there. And in the end, it's Fisher who kicks it away for the corner. Well, a man of Droy's size is always going to cause a few problems when he comes forward. Actually, he's only scored once so far this season. But he's up there looking for number 2 now. So Britain with the corner for Chelsea. Wilkins with his header. Finiston trying to get a shot in. And in the end, it was Mayo who got it away. Pitch in. And Locke dinking it back again. Britain. Good pass by him. And Roeder got it away. But now Wilkins onside. The chip coming in and the save by John Jackson once more. But that time the flag was up. There was an infringement in the 6-yard area. Lovely little chip in though by Ray Wilkins. Kitchen. Well, I make it 45 gone. Just a question of how much time Derek Nippard allowed for that delay at the start. Rocky, Troy. Half-time whistle. I know he's a classic first half, full of gutsy football, and the best chance probably falls to Joe Mayo just before half-time when he whacked the ball over the crossbar. Peter Bonetti really wouldn't have had a chance if he'd caught that the way that he really wanted to. As it is, Peter Bonetti's not beaten, and neither's been John Jackson. A goalless first half then in this 5th round FA Cup tie at Orient. Orient 0, Chelsea 0. We'll be back with the second half. Welcome back to Brisbane Road in East London. Orient 0, Chelsea 0 is the half-time score in this 5th round FA Cup tie. And Orient in the white strip now attacking the goal to our right. Kevin Godfrey. Orient, who've beaten Norwich and Blackburn in previous rounds. Chelsea having put out Liverpool and Burnley. Grealish going through. Kitchen, will they allow him to turn? He very nearly got a shot in there. The ball spinning viciously, and I think Gary Locke deciding that as it was spinning so viciously, it would be a good idea to belt the thing away for a corner rather than try to risk a back pass to Peter Bonetti. So Orient's corner, Bill Roffey with it. Opening minute of this second half. Ben Roeder's come up. Nigel Gray has come up. And here's Wilkins for Chelsea. Grealish. 2 tigerish number 4s there. Grealish and Ian Britton of Chelsea. And in fact, Britton just a little too tigerish, conceding a free kick. Which Roffey will swing once more into that Chelsea penalty area. Oh, Kitchen. Now Bennett. A chance of a shot maybe. Kitchen turning it in. No, disallowed. There'd been an infringement there. I suspect it was a handball as Mayo played it on for Kitchen. Some quick into passing there, but I think there was probably a handball in there as well. And Kitchen rattling the ball wide of Bonetti, only to find it disallowed. Well, he's got past Wilkins, supported by Fisher. Fisher again. Played on once more for Godfrey. Can he whip it over now? Well, there's the ball for Kitchen. Now can he turn? No, not with Harris there. Defended well, and then in point of fact, Ray Wilkins got a little bit in his way, so Orient can keep it going now as it comes back to Roeder. with their supporters now getting behind them. Fisher turning it in again for Mayo. Played back again for Glenn Roeder. That's a good shot, and Benetti right behind it. Kitchen. And Wilkins very delicately taking it off the feet of his opposite number and finding Langley. And now through for Finiston into the side netting. Started when Wilkins beat Grealish in midfield. Langley playing a part. Finiston looking for that yard of space, getting it, but putting it into the side netting. Block for Chelsea. Langley. Britain. Walker. And Roeder. Oh, what a lovely ball by Roeder now for Godfrey. Graham Wilkins is after him, still with young Kevin Godfrey. Hit across there. Oh, and Kitchen had a chance there, but I think he may have been offside, and indeed he was. Great ball there that sent young Kevin Godfrey on his way. Kitchen was waiting for it in the middle, didn't connect properly, in any case was offside. Here's a broken wall. And a few broken dreams, really. Anybody coming here expecting a really rumbustious classic cup tie, because it really hasn't been that yet. Now Grealish just dinking that ball in. Gary Locke getting up well on that occasion. Hoadley was right in there hoping for a repeat of 1972 when he got a scorching 30-yard goal. Gray coming off Langley. Orient throw. On my watch, about 12 minutes. Harris there first. And away goes Walker. Britain taking on Fisher. Curled in again there. Walker's header, and he'll be disappointed with that. Scurrying little character, Ian Britton had made a lot of ground, had curled in a good cross. Walker, in fact, was in a good position there. He just glanced off his head. He didn't quite get enough firmness on it. Locke. Swain. Walker. And that time, Hoadley was in there once more. Here's Droy. What about that? What about that? For Locke, with Swain outside him. Grealish's touch. Kitchen's header, straight to Britain. A long, long shot. Oh, and a brilliant save! Ian Britton at 5'5", the smallest man on the field. What a shot! And what a save. So a corner for Chelsea with 4 to go. And Hoadley up again to nod it away for another Chelsea corner. Britain. And now it's a Chelsea throw. I can only imagine how difficult that must have been for John Jackson, who really, neither goalkeepers really had so much to do in this game. But he was really equal to that one in superb style. Harris with it fun, and that won't trouble John Jackson. Such a great cheerful character. There's Ron Harris, is John Jackson. So many good seasons with Crystal Palace. 34 years old, and he won't have made many better saves than that. And it's all over. It goes to a replay at Stamford Bridge on Monday week. Cup tie that never really quite lived up to its billing. And yet it could so easily have all swung Chelsea's way right at the end with that tremendous shot by the number 4 there, Ian Britton. Really superbly saved by John Jackson, the Orient keeper. Well, it'll be another big gate for Chelsea, with a share of the take for Orient when they meet again at Stamford Bridge in what is sure to be in front of a very big crowd, and I hope that crowd on that particular occasion gets slightly better value than maybe we got here today. All a little too tense maybe, a little too frantic, and in the end we finish absolutely goalless. A final scoreline then at Brisbane Road, Orient 0, Chelsea 0.
So it's a replay on Monday week. And after the game, we talked about that amazing save by the Orient keeper, John Jackson, and about those collapsing walls. First to the managers, Jimmy Bloomfield of Orient and Ken Shellito of Chelsea. And first, I spoke to Jimmy Bloomfield. Jimmy Bloomfield, your reaction to that 0-0 draw?
Well, I think that it'd have been a better game if there'd have been goals. Obviously, I thought we'd done most of the attacking, but unfortunately we couldn't put the ball in the back of the net. We got it in the net once. I thought that the referee gave Peter Kitchen offside, but apparently he gave a handball, and Joe Mayo said that the ball hit him on the chest, so it was one of those type of decisions.
Well, what you have to remember is that it's handball right to the top of the arm. What's Joe Mayo, number 9 there? There's the ball hitting him. I would say from that angle, it looked to me as though referee Derek Nippard gave exactly the right decision and disallowed that Orient goal. The referee was right. How big a problem was it for you when Steve Wicks went down with flu?
We haven't got a problem with Ron Harris. I mean, you can play Ron anywhere, and within an hour, you have a little chat with him and say, well, you're playing there, so fine. He's a great professional, he's got no problems.
You must have thought that it was won in that fraction of a second when the ball left Ian Britton's boot there towards the end.
Yes, I did. I thought that was a goal. No, he made a tremendous save, didn't he? I thought he went very late. I thought he was missing it. And, you know, good shot, good save, and the old cliche corner.
Jim, how did you see that one?
Well,
I mean, did you feel it was on the way to the net?
Well, I thought it was a wonderful shot. I'd have been surprised if it had beat John, because he's been playing fantastically well this season. And it seems to be that all great goalkeepers can manage to get that extra 6 or 4 inches when it's needed to just tip the ball over the post. And that's what John done. I thought it was a fantastic save, but I expected him to save it.
A manager's confidence in his goalkeeper. And indeed, it was a moment to savour in the match, and to be honest, there were few of them. It was that save by John Jackson from Ian Britton in the closing minutes. First, the view of Ian Britton. Did he really think he'd got that winner for Chelsea?
Yeah, I did, until I saw John Tancount and tip over the bar.
Were you surprised he got up that well?
I thought he left it a bit late, but he just didn't get his fingertips to it.
Because you caught it really well, Ian.
Yeah, it was going well, but it was dipping a lot. Might even get the goal save of the season.
Could easily be in the goal of the season, I think, if it had gone in.
Oh, wouldn't have been a bad surprise. I ain't scored for a while.
Yeah. So what do you say to him now?
Good save.
John, what about it? Ian was suggesting that you might have left it a little bit late.
Well, funny, I was slipping a little bit as I was going across. And I was a bit fortunate because it started to come back at me. And, you know, I was lucky in that sense it came back into me rather than...
What, the little bit of dip that Ian was talking
Yeah,
about?
that's it. It was in it.
But what about those collapsing? Clearly those walls collapsing was a bad start to the afternoon, Brian. Have you yet been able to discover what caused it?
Well, it's very difficult, Brian, but we've had a series of phone calls during the week from Chelsea supporters, which we've tended to ignore, obviously, as just a silly element, threatening that they were going to push walls down. And we had one particular phone call which claimed to be the leader of the shed at Chelsea, and that if we lost, they would destroy the ground completely. So we just, of course, ignored them and just treated as people being silly. But the extraordinary thing is that we've had a capacity here of 24-4 against Spurs, and other than the odd sort of people being turned out, no problems at all. And yet whenever Chelsea came, even when there was a gate here of just over 11, they managed to do damage, and they managed to do it again. I think the Department of Environment, who advised us basically that you don't have to give tickets to Chelsea, were trying to sell us something, that trying to play the game fair as we did. We gave them tickets, plenty of tickets, and of course this has happened.
Yeah, so you don't think it was just the enthusiasm of the moment and
no.
purely accidental?
No, definitely not the enthusiasm moment. No, definitely not, because people were watching, and I spoke to several people that were on the various terraces, and I looked myself, even after the accident happened, the people at the back were still pushing, not just sort of fawning. They weren't fawning, they were pushing. In fact, the police made their way into the crowds afterwards to stop them pushing. And the barriers had been worked on during the hour or so before the game when they were there. They'd been picked at and worked at. And I think John Jackson saw when he turned, he told me before that after the accident he turned and saw 3 people trying to lift one of the steel pieces of the barrier to twist it round their heads and advise the police about this.
Really?
So of course it was an accident. I think possibly the frost getting into the walls and that sort of thing and the cold weather didn't help. But I think if you built steel boxes for these people, they'd come along with oxyacetylene lanes. You know, I don't know how you're going to stop them.
Have you spoken to the Chelsea officials about that?
Well, there's little they can do. I mean, fortunately we don't have this problem, but if our supporters go away and do this sort of thing, which they haven't, and the odd one that's silly and jumps over walls, we talk to them about it, but they're such a vast club and such a vast crowd, I don't think they can do very much about it.
What was the injury list? How many people were injured? I
I think 8 were taken to hospital, but I only think that about 2 or 3 were sort of badly hurt with the odd break or so. I think we're very, very lucky. I thought the police were superb, St John's ambulance. I thought the referee was brilliant, the way he kept everything cool. And I think the game started in about 3 to 4 minutes.
What's the cost of it to Orient now?
Frankly, Brian, we haven't calculated, and to be honest, I don't care what it costs. The thing that concerns me most are the people who have been hurt, and I can only apologise to them on behalf of everybody here and to their family and kinfolk and say we're sorry about it, and we hope it'll never happen again.
Well, today the Chelsea chairman, Mr. Brian Mears, has reacted sharply to those accusations. He's astonished that those threatening phone calls were made in midweek, but more so that Chelsea were not informed about them until after the game. And did Orient inform the police, he asked. And it seems odd, continued Mr. Mears, that Chelsea supporters should want to injure their own fellow supporters. It was not hooliganism, he claims. It was the normal surge forward that you get at any game. Well, whatever it was sad that such a thing should happen to Orient, one of the league's friendliest